Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Karen Rice. Today I'm just going to talk about one of the fundamental basics of watercolour, and that is working light to dark. With watercolour we don't use white paint usually, but I do usually at the end of my paintings, but shh, don't tell anyone. Think about the white of your paper being the white and light. So if you paint too dark to begin with, you'll lose your light and then it's quite hard to get back afterwards. So just start off with very sort of thin washes and then work your way up to darker washes. And I'm going to talk about all the do's and don'ts in this very simple step-by-step tutorial. So shall we get started? Details about the brushes can be found in the description below alongside all of the other materials. I'm using a watercolour sketchbook. It's A5 and it's 350 grams and it is a cold press surface, and I really like using this sketchbook. And of course the paints, I'm using Prussian blue and Paynes grey for this tutorial. So I've sketched an outline for the drawing using an HB pencil. I'm also using the tape for the horizon line so I can get a really nice straight horizon line. First of all, I'm going to paint a tonal chart showing you the light, medium and dark versions of this Paynes grey colour. In watercolour we work light to dark. Here I've started off with tube paint at the top and gradually adding water to it so I get a really light wash right at the bottom there. So I'm adding plenty of water, and I'm going to start off showing you the white of the paper, which is really important to reserve at the beginning of a painting. You want to make sure that you've planned your light areas, and whether you're going to reserve them with masking fluid or paint round them or lift off, it's up to you. The next little square there is your lightest wash, so I've added lots of water to that one. Next is our mid-tone wash, so there's a little bit more paint here, less water. So I'm just painting this wet on dry, and it's really useful to have these tonal charts so when you're working in watercolour you can see how to progress from light to dark, so you don't jump to dark too quickly or end up with lots of mid-tones. So this is a mid to dark tonal value. So as you can see, it's a little bit darker than that mid-tone. And the final dark will literally be the tube paint with a little bit of water, enough water though, so that you can see the light and white of the paper being reflected through the little square. So it doesn't look opaque. If it looks opaque, it will make your painting look flat. So I'm going to start off painting wet into wet. So I'm wetting the paper with a large mop brush. And just take your time doing this to allow the water to soak through the paper, and this will give you longer to paint so your paper won't dry out too quickly. I'm just removing the washi tapes. I want to wet the painting right down to the bottom, and I am going to paint wet into wet all of the painting, so it's going to be sort of light and mid-tones. And I'm going to paint the sky and the water first. What I want you to notice is the shine on the paper here. It's just to make sure you've wet everything, but you don't want to paint into a puddle. You want it to be a shine like that. So just get rid of all those puddles. And then you can work wet into wet. So I've fully loaded my size 8 brush, the mid to dark tone, and I'm painting the top part of the sky wet into wet. What you'll notice is the water on the paper also dilutes the paint. So I've got more of a mid-tone, and I'm just painting down to the top of the mountains, getting paler and getting paler on the water, and then adding a little bit more of the dark tonal value right at the bottom there. Again, that's diluted because of the wetness of the paper. I'm tilting to the side here to collect any puddles with a clean, damp brush, and I'm going to allow my painting to dry. Here is a really good tip if you don't like pencil lines showing in your paintings. Make sure your painting is dry and just erase the pencil lines. You still want a ghost sort of faint line remaining, as you can see here, but it won't come forward too much. I would suggest doing this before you start painting. I actually forgot to do mine. So I'm going to paint the furthest mountain, and I am using the mid-tonal value. I'm using my size 8 brown brush, working wet on dry. Really load your brush and work your way down to the horizon, because we're going to work in layers. One of the ways of making watercolor paint darker or lighter is either add more water to make it lighter, or more paint, or a darker colored paint to make it darker. And the other way is layering your watercolors, which I will discuss shortly. Meanwhile, I'm just putting back my horizon line. That's the water's edge there. Make sure you put your tape onto dried watercolor paper. So I'm painting down to the water's edge, and I'm going to allow my painting to thoroughly dry. I'm going to use the mid to dark tonal value here to paint the middle mountain wet on dry. I'm going to paint using my size 8 brush down to the water's edge. The benefit of layering is you create depth, because this darker layer looks in front. You're also making the paint darker because you're covering the light of the paper by covering it with more paint, which is a good thing, but also it could be a tricky thing. If you do too many layers, you lose the light in your painting. So be careful how many layers you choose to use in watercolor. Try to restrict them to 3 or 4. So I'm going to allow the painting to dry once more. For step 5, I'm going to paint the nearest and darkest hill wet on dry. I need to mix up more paint. Literally, I've squeezed this out from a tube and I've added some water to it, and you can see how dark it is. Plus it's layered over that mid to dark tonal value, so it really comes across dark. Remember to add enough water so you can see the light and white of the paper being reflected through. Otherwise it could really make your painting look flat. So I'm going to allow my painting to dry once more. And for step 6, I'm going to use a dry brush technique to paint the water. I'm removing the washi tape to reveal a lovely crisp water's edge. If you're worried about your paper tearing, use a little bit of heat on the tape before removing the tape. It usually helps. So I'm going to use a dry brush technique. So the middle of the brush hairs are going to be used. So dipping my brush into the dark paint, taking off the excess paint on the paper towel, and then using the middle of the brush, scrubbing the sort of dried paint almost onto the textured surface, sort of catching the texture, making it darker in the foreground because that's nearest to us. But as I go off into the distance, I really use the belly of the brush to really scrub what's left of the paint there to create that sort of sparkle and texture on the top of the water. So as you can see there in watercolor, the reason why we work light to dark is we don't use white paint, so you need to use the light and the white of the paper and think about where you're going to reserve it. So that's that first little white box, to really focus on that and sort of plan where your light areas are. And then you can think about your light tonal values, and that could be sort of in the sky or the distant land or in the water, mid-tones, and then the darker tones as well. And you can build them up by obviously adding more paint, or layering the paint, or adding darker paint, which is what I'm going to do in this next tutorial, using some slightly different techniques as well. So I'm going to do the tonal exercise again. I really encourage you to do this. It's such good practice. So I'm starting off with the darkest version of the Prussian blue. So that this paint is straight from the tube, and I've added some water. Remember, you want the light to sort of reflect through this paint. You don't want it too thick. I've then put that sort of paint just below and added sort of 2 lots of sort of brush loads of water, and then applied that paint to the next well here, adding more water, again 2 brush loads, and then again putting that on the bottom well there, and again adding lots of water this time to make it really pale. Prussian blue is quite a strong, vibrant colour. So I've got a dark, a mid to dark, mid and light tonal value, plus the white of the paper, which I'm just making a little record of just to remind me how important it is. Then next goes my lightest wash there. You can have it even lighter than this if you want to, depends on the picture. And then my mid-tonal value. So it's going to be a little bit darker. Now you can reverse what I've just done there, showing you how to mix the different colours. You can start off with a puddle of light colour and keep adding the paint progressively in different wells. It's up to you. See what works for you. And here is my darkest tonal value. And you can see how valuable these tonal charts are. So again, I'm wetting the paper with a large mop brush. No drawing and no tape. So quite free to begin with. Going in with the darkest tonal value at the top, I'm painting wet into wet. Rinsing my brush and getting the mid-tonal value and painting wet into wet, just below that dark area. So as I go towards the top of the mountains or towards the horizon area, my paint gets paler because it's further away. So I'm literally ended up with just water. So that's the white of the paper, using a mid-tone here and then a darker tonal value, wet into wet. And this is more of the foreground area at the bottom of the painting. And tilting my painting and just using the paper towel to collect any puddles at the edge of the painting. And just using that dark colour and painting damp into wet at the bottom of the painting just to really make it darker, to create depth in my painting. So I'm going to use some cling film, or you can use plastic wrap. And I'm going to place it on the sea area, and you can see it sort of sticks there, and you can create these amazing sort of textures, but I'm trying to keep it quite horizontal to represent the sort of markings on the sea there. And I'm adding Prussian blue and Paynes grey mixed together, so it's a darker colour mixed with a dark Prussian blue to create an even darker tonal value. So for step 2, I'm going to remove the cling film. I'm going to put the horizon in using the washi tape, and I'm going to paint the distant mountain wet on dry using the lightest shade here. That's the lightest tonal value. Wet on dry using my size 8 brush. Always keep loading your brush with fresh paint and paint down to the water's edge. I'm getting a little bit of mid to dark tonal value, so it's slightly thicker than this light wash, and I'm painting it damp into wet with my size 6 brush at the top of the mountain, and this is to pull the mountain away from the sky to create a sort of an illusion of depth. I'm tilting here to allow that paint to flow into the wet paint. As you can see, that distant mountain now has a lovely atmospheric effect there, using that sort of damp, darker paint into the wet, lighter paint. I've also painted another layer of paint using mid-tone for that middle mountain. So I have mixed up the Prussian blue with a pinch of Paynes grey to make the colour and the tonal value darker. And I'm painting using my size 6 brush, wet on dry, the nearest hill there. And you can see how it really creates depth using the darker colour and also the layering technique as well. But using all these techniques really does create the illusion of depth in the painting. I'm mixing up some more Paynes grey and Prussian blue and adding a little bit more dark there just on the water's edge, damp into damp. And I'm just going to finish off painting some birds in the sky, wet on dry, using my size 6 round brush. I'm using a dilute mix of the Paynes grey and Prussian blue. So I'm removing the washi tape from both of the paintings. It reveals a lovely white border. So I really hope you found this tutorial helpful. Just those basic techniques can just make such a difference. You know, just working light to dark and letting your painting dry in between those stages can really sort of push you forward, and you can feel more confident. So you could try these in lots of different colours and just trying out exactly the same sort of techniques I've done here, and loading that brush and gliding that brush across the paper. If you would like to get access to my exclusive tutorials with downloadable outline sketches and step-by-step progress photographs, why not think about joining my Patreon membership? You will be supporting the content that I create here on YouTube, and of course get access to these exclusive tutorials, extended tutorials, my private Facebook group as well, where there's amazing supportive community growing there. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching. Happy painting. Bye for now.